Yo, what it do? What's going on, sis? I got the sister Kenya in the building.
Hey.
Y'all already know. Got my lovely co-host for the late evening. So as always, we have to sometimes come where we ain't gonna have to argue with everybody. Cause once again, you already know how TikTok is. That's like it's built for arguing because nobody agrees. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
And nobody's teaching either. Not over there. So let me show something.
I think the only thing they agree on is the fact that they disagree.
Mm-hmm. Wholeheartedly. So y'all already know we tapping in on the X, Y, and Z chromosome. I'm gonna be getting it with it. That's why I say it's gonna get wild. So we're gonna definitely be looking up these words.
Yay.
Homogametic, heterogametic. It's gonna get real. Let me check the chat.
Scientific. I used to love science.
For sure. So boom. They know I ain't gonna wait on it because on the replay, I know people don't want to have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
So getting with it, right? Chromosomes. Like I was saying, like me and my sister was talking. Everybody's focused on that 23rd chromosome. But the other 22 are called autosomes. Right? We seeing that word right here too. Seeing autosomes. So boom. 22 of those are autosomes. So we have all 22 in common, male or female.
If you look at, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I was looking at the time. Here it's 11:11. And then I was just thinking about 22 and 22. I'm sorry. Or 2. Sorry, not 22 and 22, but 2 and 2. My bad.
Oh no, I know what you mean. That's synchronicity.
Yeah, we had said 20. You said 22, and then the time was 11:11, so that was 2.
Yep, and we just got 2 people in the building, so it's gonna keep climbing because the synchronicity is there. You know what I mean? But peace to the guys. Smash that like button. Y'all already know we're about to get it in. We touching on this the X, Y, and Z chromosomes, right? I got to get wild with it. I can't just can't be stick with the normal. You feel me? That's like I got to break the monotony. You know what I mean? So the X and the Y can be sort of monotonous because that seems to be the only points that we truly have. Well, the only understanding that we have. So we know, greatly about this X and also the Y, but let's get with it, right? Chromosomes are grouped as sex chromosomes or autosomes. Like I was just saying, we have 22 autosomes, male or female, that are exactly identical. We have this 23rd chromosome that we argue over for whatever reason. It's the only thing that's different between male or female. It's the 23rd chromosome. So chromosomes are grouped as sex chromosomes. That's what the 23rd chromosome determines. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Or autosomes with the X, Y, Z, and W. I could have put the W in the title, but I didn't want to throw y'all too far off because it seemed like a W should become before the X. But nonetheless, the X, Y, Z, and W all fall into the former category. The Z and X are present both in homogametic and heterogametic sexes. So let me see what we got going with this homogametic. right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all see my screen?
Yes.
All right, boom. Homo, obviously meaning the same, and people don't necessarily pay attention to the gam, but the gam is obviously having to do with the intertwining of genders, which we call sex, right? The
Uh-huh.
gam, you see it in monogamy, polygamy, homogametic. You're seeing this every time we use the word sex. But denoting the sex, homogametic denotes the sex, which has sex chromosomes that do not differ in morphology. Damn, right? Resulting in one kind of gamete. This example in mammals, the female, and in birds, the male. That's real. You know how, like, I be wondering how people do. I be wondering all the time, how do people know a bird is a boy or a girl? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
They're homogametic. You know, yeah, the female and the male birds are basically homogametic, where they have nothing showing to differentiate the two, right?
Uh-huh.
And I guess this is that Z and Y. Let's go back to that. Matter of fact, I should do these on different pages so I can swap back and forth. I'm going to do it on another page. Because they saying the Z and X are present both in homogametic and heterogametic. So let me pull that up definitely. Right. Heterogametic. Let's go over here first. Heterogametic, sex of a species in which the sex chromosomes are not the same. That's us, humans,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense for us to be heterosexuals,
Yep.
in my opinion, my humble opinion. But sex of a species in which the sex chromosomes are not the same. An example would be human males with XY chromosome, uh, bird females with ZW chromosomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heterogametic sex, digametic, meaning two, you know, two gametes or sexes, refer to the individuals of a species in which the sex chromosomes are not the same. For example, in humans, males with an X and Y sex chromosome would be referred to as heterogametic sex, and females giving two X sex chromosomes would be referred to as homogametic sex. And females having two X sex chromosomes would be referred to as homogametic. Wow, okay, because we're talking about the chromosomes themselves. So if you have two of the same, if men were YY, then we would be homogametic.
Then you'll be homo.
Homogametic meaning one gamete. Like we're only one chromosome. We're only XX or only a YY. There's no variation. When you have two different types, like an X and a Y, then
Uh-huh.
it's a heterogametic, meaning two, or like they say, digametic, di meaning two.
Mm-hmm.
So it meaning two gametes, or sexes, right? So
Yes.
the male is an X and a Y. You know, basically two chromosomes, which is two sexes, but the woman is purely the XX. She's purely woman, and like you said, men, according to science, it's saying that men are that we are mankind, huh? And woman is the true man, the womb man. And wow, because there is no YY. We only have XYs and XXs, which we looking at, which we have just learned is heterogametic. You know, when you have dual chromosomes, two different kind. Then when you have two of the same kind, then it's homogametic. You know, this arrangement is known as the XY sex determination system, right? So let me go back. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Salutes. Wait a second. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, grandma and grandpa. You know what I mean? But right, let's get with it. Right. I gotta let me pull up the Z chromosome. I really want to find that video my brother Crumb did. He might have put it on members only. That's the only thing about it. If he did, then that's gonna be a little problem. Let me see. Yeah, we got to get on that W chromosome too, so we can definitely catch up.
But is the W for humans or is that just for birds?
Yeah, this is it's an animal kingdom. It's mammals. It's just like when we speaking on parthenogenesis, we wouldn't be able to explain it talking about the X and the Y. You know, like if we're gonna use nature as an example, then it'll be that Z or that Z chromosome. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go down first. The Lost World. Z chromosome. Let's see. If they don't even want to tap it home. And this says the females have a pair of dissimilar ZW chromosomes, and males have two similar ZZ chromosomes. Right? So the male is the ZZ. In contrast to the XY sex determination system and the XO sex determination system, where the sperm determines the sex.
Mm-hmm.
But in the ZW system, the ovum determines the sex of the offspring.
And so when it comes into I guess the animal kingdom that use the Z and the W,
I mean,
the woman.
they can. Certain animals do like this. Like this is reptilians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the woman becomes the hetero, and the reptilians.
Yeah. And the male is a homogamete. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So maybe no, that's the reptilian though.
Let me see. Matter of fact, I gotta find this video for y'all.
Can you check with amphibians?
Well, yeah. I wouldn't doubt that they definitely are that also. Hold on. I look at all that as the same. Reptilians and amphibians. The only difference is that amphibians they morph. That's the only thing about them.
Like they can go both water and land, right?
I mean, yeah, they go from a tadpole to being they go from being fish like and aquatic to being like land dweller. They grow legs and stuff like they make a big transformation.
Is that like metamorphosis or
Yeah, it's
something?
like a butterfly type thing.
Yeah.
And reptilians don't do the butterfly thing. They just like humans. They as is. We born that, and we're gonna just keep growing that same exact little size we were when we were born. We just gonna that shape, the form that we had when we were born. We just gonna keep growing into that. They just make a whole different transformation. Let me see if I can find this video. Because he got the perfect video for what we're talking about right now. Especially right here when he's saying we are the reptilians. There's probably some good stuff on there, I know, in Crump. That could be the actual video. I don't know. Let me oh shoot. If I don't find it, I know that might be it. I'm gonna go back to that. But that look like is exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, but shout out to Crumb TV. Y'all already know. Like this is one of the first videos that we did that he put on YouTube. We had did it on Facebook. And after about a year, he was like, man, it did so many views. He was like, man, brother, I'm finna throw this on YouTube, man. This video doing numbers on Facebook. So we ended up dropping that. It's fire. It deserved 400K. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. But hold on. And my brother Crumb been going in for a long time. This is one of my favorites too, Stone Babies. Like I know you heard of cystic fibrosis. Oh shucks.
Yeah, that's something that happens in a woman's uterus or something, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And they call them Stone Babies. You know, this is one of his oldest, best videos to me, man. Like all this old stuff, all of it, fire. But man, I remember this back when he first pretty much started getting on YouTube, killing it. Yeah, I love that video. It's really showing you how cystic fibrosis is really stone babies. And like when doctors be pulling it out, they be having body parts like teeth, hair, body parts of a baby. It's like no different than an abortion. When they're snatching out the body parts.
Parthenogenesis, perhaps?
Hey, you feel me? Exactly. And they just turn it into stone babies. And I had did a post about that, and I came across this Chinese story, how they was like this lady had some stone babies. She delivered hers, and she had them for years and years and years. Like she was letting hers grow. Like she wasn't gonna never throw them away. And and they
she was feeding them, and
it actually kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I mean?
She like delivered them and started feeding them and taking them on walks and crazy stuff.
Wild stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. What is it? Must be that other video then. Hold on. It must be that other video.
But I didn't know about the stone babies. Now you gave me something to research.
Yep. My son here, so what page? There you go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to this. It gotta be something pretty much on that. Yeah, my brother Crumby going in.
Shut the TV back.
It could have been a short. It could have been a short, but I'm gonna check this out right quick.
Peace. I'm your brother Crumb, and I endorse the Chakra Doctor's Miracle Food and FCA Yoga. Go to chakradoctor.org to find out more.
Crumb TV.
This is called We Are the Reptilians. Medusa means sovereign female wisdom. Why are we the reptilians? Because we are the intelligent people. Anything to do with the snake or what we call a reptile or a serpent is always going to deal with intelligence. So the real Medusa had locks. She was an African goddess, mother of all gods and wisdom. Greeks turned her legacy into a monster who wore a head full of snakes. The name Sophia in Greek is wisdom. So when we're dealing with a snake or we're dealing with the reptilians, we're dealing with advanced information from an advanced group of people. Significant scholars have seen the name Medusa etymologically, going back to the Sanskrit name Medha, or in Greek Metis, or in Egyptian Ma'at, meaning sovereign female wisdom. The serpent has always been synonymous with wisdom and healing. Venom has a duality, meaning that it can kill, but more importantly, it can heal. Is the name Sophia in the Bible? Sophia is the central idea in Hellenistic philosophy and religion, Platonism, Gnosticism, Orthodox Christianity, esoteric Christianity, and Christian mysticism. Sophiology is the philosophical concept regarding wisdom, as well as theology concept regarding wisdom of the biblical God. Our people are reptilian. We always wore the uraeus, or the serpent crown, shown on the Egyptian or Nubian royalty, also known as Nagar or the Negus. Amongst many indigenous African cultures, the uraeus is a symbol indicating rule through female wisdom. You may notice that this uraeus is a king cobra. This king cobra is really a queen. A king cobra can be a female. Medusa was worshipped by the Amazons as their goddess. She was an oracle, or what they call a virgin psychic. When you really on your stuff as a woman, you can really tap into your psychic ability. The uraeus, a female king cobra, is the symbol of the goddess Wekjek, the earliest of the Kemetic deities. The snake has always represented female authority and wisdom to the melanated people. Your DNA does what is called a helix. Look at these two snakes. They're twisting around each other like a DNA helix. They're dancing, or what some people would say is fighting, and it resembles a helix, just like your DNA. We're going to find a resemblism to the cosmic serpent or our DNA. This is what the caduceus that Thoth had held was all about, because they studied nature. Tupac means shining serpent. Now keep in mind, Tupac's mama was a Black Panther, so when she named her son Tupac, it had a deeper meaning. This is Tupac, the shining serpent in which your favorite rapper is named after. Why are you the reptilian? If we look at our ancestors, the eye of Horus was a portion of the brain. At the base of the brain, that red portion, that's called the reptilian brain. Instinct, dominance, survival. You saw that the caduceus had wings on it. A dragon is a serpent that has wings. This is the dragon that they're talking about. The caduceus, or the caduceus, was a symbol of the health practitioners. The original ancient African caduceus, the symbolic man with a bird's head, is holding the ankh in the right hand and the snake in the left hand. The Caucasian symbol uses the bird's wings instead of the man with a bird's head. Instead of the ankh, a staff is used and the snakes intertwine around it. The word seraph, literally the burning ones, is normally synonymous for serpent. And this is from the Hebrew. The book of Isaiah used the term to describe a fiery six-winged being that flew around the throne of God crying, "Holy, holy, holy." Kundalini is serpent fire, because this fire-breathing dragon goes up your spine, up your Kundalini orbs. The story of Adam and Eve is really the story of your Kundalini. If we want to get into what Christmas really is, the evergreen tree represents the tree of life. The tree of life never dies. Evergreen trees are said to never die. In the story of Adam and Eve, the snake is in a tree. If we look at our evergreen tree, you coil the tree with lights. At the top of the tree is a star. This Christmas tree, which represents you, is a colorful reptile going all around you. This energy is coming from your base and going up, and there's the star at the top of the Christmas tree. You see the Christmas tree with all the colors, with all the balls? Those are your chakras, family. So this Christmas tree has pine cones for your pineal gland, This whole thing is about you, family. Transverse waves. Transverse waves moves like a snake going up and down. Light energy moves in transverse waves. Everything is serpent energy, and you are the serpent. My sis, she says, I believe we have changed, not reptilian. Now I can't slither, but I like the thought. So I said, at one point, at your simplest form, you slithered up your mama's vagina. Not only did you slither up your mama's vagina, getting ashy is really getting scaly. That's why they put alligators in a lotion commercial. Harold, what happened to you? My brother says even the letter S is in soul. Soul, spine, spirit, source, spiral, seed, sound, sun, serpent, sperm, etc. It signifies great energy. The letter S is even shaped like a snake. The sound of S is like the hiss of a snake. The serpent race are the Cushites, who called themselves Ophites, meaning of the serpent, from the Greek word ophis, meaning serpent. The nation of the Ophite is in modern-day Somalia, called Ophir. Arwi was the serpent god they worshiped before Abrahamic religion. Ancient Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and Babylonians hold serpents as a symbol of wisdom. Jesus told you, be as wise as the serpent. The Cushites, who are the modern Somalis, did and still consider snakes to represent wisdom. In the cartoon Dragon Ball Z, if you collect all the Dragon Balls, then the dragon will come and answer any question you have. This is very strange because the female name for wisdom is Sophia. Sophia is simply Ophi with an S in front and an A at the end. The original melanated people are the snakes, the serpents, the dragons, the reptilians, which is really us, the Nagas people, those who are able to activate the Kundalini energy. Lucifer falling from heaven is really your consciousness falling from a higher God state, your crown chakra, to represent your lowest state, your root chakra, which is red. That's why the devil is red. When we get this light, it wakes us up. If you go to the pet store and buy some type of reptile, you're going to need a strong enough heat lamp to activate this reptile's genetic code. If you buy a snake from the store and you don't get it a heat lamp, the snake won't grow because it doesn't have the right stimulation to activate its genes. Just like humans and other mammals, reptiles need vitamin D from sunlight or ultraviolet UV rays. Without proper sun or UV exposure, pet reptiles can be deficient in vitamin D. Just like when you get deficient in vitamin D, you got sickle cell or any type of anemia, Dr. Sebi said all sickness is iron deficiency. The Tutara has a well-developed partial eye with a small lens and retina. The parietal eye is visible as a gray spot on the top of lizards' heads, also referred to as the pineal eye or third eye. In the book of John 3:14, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so was the Son of Man be lifted up. Delphi and the oracle. If you go and look at Greek culture, there was Pythia. Pythia was the oracle at Delphi. After Apollo killed a python and he spilled the python's blood, he got a girl, Pythia, to sit right above that circle and smoke would come up. That was the smoke from the blood of the serpent. She was having psychic ability because she sat in that circle and she would be able to tell you any information you ever wanted to know. So let's look at the word python. Python is a soothsaying spirit or a person who is possessed by such a spirit. She was possessed by the spirit of the python. So here we have the second definition. In Greek mythology, the dragon killed by Apollo at Delphi. In the Bible, the wife serpent didn't deceive Eve, but rather woke her up, changing her DNA. That's why Eve means serpent in Aramaic, because Jesus didn't speak Hebrew or Greek. Jesus spoke Aramaic. So if you said Eve to Jesus, he would understand that you meant serpent. You are the reptilian.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's a great segue into the video that I wanted to get to. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this tab. Check on the. Yeah, it's a great segue so that people could better. Oh yeah, and the brother on code 24/7 ask you a question, Sister Kenya, because basically you need to drop your link in the chat, so that people can support you. Because you just started a channel like just recently, right?
Yeah, I thought I was on that page, but maybe not. Okay, I will.
For sure. Yeah, this here gonna help y'all understand what I'm saying about this Z or the Z chromosome, because it's associated with reptilians, but as you just got a dose, we are the reptilians. I'm gonna let this video probably repeat itself like 2 or 3 times, but this is it right here.
So during parthenogenesis, an XX female is only able to produce XX eggs and female offspring. She has no way of getting that Y chromosome, and a male cannot be born. Now, the Komodo dragon, most other lizards, birds, and snakes have the WZ sex determination system. This is where 2 like chromosomes, ZZ, are male, resulting in WZ being female. During parthenogenesis, a WZ female is only able to produce ZZ male offspring and WW inviable or non-developmental offspring. Meaning the only way for the double X chromosome Virgin Mary to give birth to the XY male Jesus was if she was actually WZ and Mary and Jesus were actually lizards. It all makes sense now.
Crumb TV.
So during parthenogenesis, an XX female is only able to produce XX eggs and female offspring. She has no way of getting that Y chromosome, and a male cannot be born. Now, the Komodo dragon, most other lizards, birds, and snakes have the WZ sex determination system. This is where 2 like chromosomes, ZZ, are male, resulting in WZ being female. During parthenogenesis, a WZ female is only able to produce ZZ male offspring and WW inviable or non-developmental offspring. Meaning the only way for the double X chromosome Virgin Mary to give birth to the XY male Jesus was if she was actually WZ and Mary and Jesus were actually lizards.
Yeah, because this is a little off subject. I'm gonna still go to the fact about how you said Jesus and Mary were reptilians. All right. So I'm looking for an image of I believe it's not Inanna, but I know it's the mother of Tammuz. Tammuz is the ancient Christ. And when you see his mother, it's that old skeleton. It's that old statue of a like reptilian woman breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the ancient.
So like a white statue.
Yeah, it's older than these. I ain't gonna lie, even the Egyptian one. It's older than all of these. And matter of fact, let me find it on another image while I leave that there. But on another tab.
The Christian's gonna have a field day with me when I tell him Jesus is a reptilian.
Yeah. They ain't ready for that. I might have to put that video on TikTok. Then, you know what I mean? Then they hit him in the head. Tag all of them. For real. It ain't gonna like that.
They didn't like it when I did a live on it. Was it Jesus part of the LGBTQ?
I'm like, man, you already know how off limit those words be on these damn sites. I don't know why. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's because they're protected.
Mm-hmm.
Must be nice.
They do not want to show.
I think I know. Was it a white statue?
Mm-hmm. The old Sumerian statue.
Let me see.
Why they give me a little bit of images? Hold on. Man, now they want to act crazy. Oh, there she go. There goes the girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not the one I was thinking of.
You know, this is the mother of Dumuzi or Tammuz. Tammuz is the ancient Christ. Like back before, back when Abraham and all them people of the Bible, the ancient Christ was Tammuz. That's how they say it in English, but it's really Dumuzi.
Was this the story when I guess the husband passed away and
Yes, Nimrod. Yeah, the Nimrod story and all that. How the son is the father. The father is the son. Like he was reincarnated through the mother as the son. Yeah. The husband is based. Yep. And this is the oldest story of that. It's the Asar and Isis story, or you mean Asar and Aset, or who they call Osiris and Isis. It's the same story, and this is the image of, like this is the depiction of her. It was always reptilian. Like you see these bumps on the shoulder. You're going to see that in a lot of different artwork, even in this part of the world, like the native, the Mayans and all these different cultures. You'll see those bumps on certain creatures or people,
What's that on her head?
Oh, that's a crest. That shows you that she's reptilian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. Find another image. All right. This is like in its smallest form. You see, same thing they'll say on a dinosaur or whatever, like a raptor. You see that crest on their heads.
The bony plates.
Yep. Yep. So that's what they would call a unicorn. Right. I did a video talking about the Dogon and rainbow unicorns. Because literally they're saying that's where the rainbow comes from. It comes from when the Dogon come in through the atmosphere. It always left these certain colors in the sky. Not necessarily the colors we see in the rainbow, but some of those colors. I don't think it was red, black, and green, but it was something like that and something else. Like it was, it was basically like a rainbow because you're seeing these different colors every time they streaked across the sky. So, yeah, pretty much like this. How we seeing that crest on these animals? I mean, or these dinosaurs. Same thing going for the mother of Tammuz, which is Ishtar, right? Yeah. Or Semiramis. But irregardless, you know, because Ishtar became Inanna. Like they all just reincarnate, you know, in different avatars, you know, so to speak. And the gods had an idea of that. The gods knew that they coming back. And they knew who they were when they came back. That's just our problem. We don't know who we are. But we coming back. You know. So like when I was speaking on the Dogon in the video, I was speaking on when I said unicorns, this is what I meant. You know, I meant the reptilian crest. The crest on the reptilian was what made them like a unicorn. You feel me? And they streaking across the sky, creating a rainbow type of effect. All this like what we associate with unicorns. You know? So it's really just some Dogon science, and it's reptilian in nature. And like I said, this is the original Christ figure, or mother and child and everything. So this is where they get Mother Mary. This is what it became down to. All the way down to now we got Mother Mary and Jesus. You know, him being breastfed or whatever. It all started from this image first. This is the oldest image of mother and child breastfeeding, and it's of the child Tammuz or Dumuzi, which was the ancient Christ, right? So back to that video one more time, just to kind of nail it home.
And female offspring. She has no way of getting that Y chromosome, and a male cannot be born. Now, the Komodo dragon, most other lizards, birds, and snakes have the WZ sex determination system. This is where two like chromosomes, ZZ, are male, resulting in WZ being female. During parthenogenesis, a WZ female is only able to produce ZZ male offspring and WW inviable or non-developmental offspring. Meaning the only way for the double X chromosome Virgin Mary to give birth to the XY male Jesus was if she was actually WZ, and Mary and Jesus were actually lizards. It all makes sense now.
Crumb TV.
So during parthenogenesis, an XX female is only able to produce XX eggs and female offspring. She has no way of getting that Y chromosome.
You feel me? So hold
on. And a male cannot be born. Now the Komodo dragon, most other.
So basically, you know, women are making a clone of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like with the plant, in the plant kingdom, same thing. Like when we make a clone of a plant, it's the exact same plant all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes I do see like women and their daughters do look alike, like a lot.
They exactly alike. One's just younger and one's older. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why it's a good thing to be able to do that, because we coming back anyways. Like, what else would you want to come back in? A different avatar than your own? Like, you want your same avatar, really? You know what I'm saying?
I think I want to be a man next time.
Well, I'm saying that's still within your power. You know what I mean?
Oh,
okay. I know what you're saying, though. It's probably in your power. I don't know how that operates. Like you said, we don't know everything. You know, until we get there, and then we lose some of our memory landing on Earth, like knock some sense out of us.
Other lizards, birds, and snakes have the WZ sex determination system. This is
WZ,
where two like chromosomes, ZZ, are male, resulting in WZ being female. During parthenogenesis, a WZ female is only able to produce ZZ male offspring.
That's crazy, ain't it? She got the WZ, but she can only produce ZZ.
And WW inviable or non-developmental offspring.
So the WW basically are just eggs, but unfertilized to a degree.
Meaning the only way for the double X chromosome Virgin Mary to give birth to the XY male Jesus was if she was actually WZ, and Mary and Jesus were actually lizards.
So that means that she can still get pregnant, right? Are you going to slow down? Sorry, I'm driving.
No, I stopped it. Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
I was to this car. It was a red light, and he was just zooming. Sorry, but so she can still get pregnant by a man though with her unfertilized eggs, but she can also do parthenogenesis, but only with boys.
Yep, she can do partheno. Yep, and produce the ZZ. You know, like that is so much information in a short video. I ain't gonna lie, I'm watching it one more time. It's just too much sometimes.
It all makes sense now.
From TV.
So during parthenogenesis, an XX female is only able to produce XX eggs
and parthenogenesis, right?
Female offspring. She has no way.
So she would never be able to, like, that's why, like you said, Jesus would have been what? You always said, I heard you say it before.
Jesus should have been a woman.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're saying too. They're agreeing with everything. Yeah, I agree too, because XX is the only thing that could come from that.
Of getting that Y chromosome, and a male cannot be born. Now the Komodo dragon, most other lizards, birds, and snakes have the WZ sex determination system. This is where two like chromosomes, ZZ, are male, resulting in WZ being female.
So ZZ are males. And the WZ is the female.
During parthenogenesis, a WZ female is only able to produce ZZ male offspring.
Boom. It's like she can only degenerate herself, like we say. She can't even regenerate herself. She can only degenerate a form of herself, which is the ZZ. So, that's like saying if men could do it, the only thing we would be able to produce would be a YY. Even though we got XY, we would just be dropping YYs. You feel me? So this is what the Z, the power of that Z is. Like the Z gives them, but it got to be hetero. It can't be homogametic, or it'll just be a ZZ or a WW, which I haven't seen a W. I don't think they have a WW. See, that's the point. It can't be hetero. It can't be homogametic and truly be parthenogenic. So men don't have the power to birth. And even if we did, we like this reptilian, we would only produce YY. And the woman obviously would only produce XX. So he's kind of going around the fact that he could have said another thing. He chose to be comical, but he was really closer to the truth than he wanted to be. Because he really was getting around the fact that Jesus would have to have been a woman, like you say. But he was being comical about being a reptilian, and he really was more close to the damn truth. Because the truth is stranger. The truth is stranger than fiction. You know what I mean? Like, this is that WZ. This the WZ. And what did she produce? A ZZ. She produced a male. The son, Dumuzi. Yeah. Or Tammuz, the ancient Christ. So yeah. This is where we getting all of that.
I see you click
history.
I'm gonna click off real quick because I have to pay with my phone. Hold on.
No problem. Yeah, this is where we getting all that parthenogenic historicity, all throughout religions and some of everything else. It's all reptilian in nature. You feel me? like you always got to have a reference in nature to compare anything that we are hypothesizing. If we are hypothesizing, using an educated guess or intellectual opinion, then of course we got to have something in nature to correspond with that. And that's why we're touching on this X, Y, and Z chromosome, even the W. Yeah, we touching on the W too. Like I just showed you with the WZ and produces ZZ. It just makes more sense now. You feel me? So like when we read this again, it just makes more sense. What is the difference between XY and ZZ chromosome? In this system's females have a pair of dissimilar ZW, which we know is WZ, ZW chromosomes, and males have two similar ZZ chromosomes, ZZ. In contrast to the XY sex determination system and the XO sex determination system, where the sperm determines the sex. In the WZ or ZW, they saying system, the ovum determines the sex of the offspring. So maybe they're trying to twist it by saying ZW, but maybe that's supposed to mean something a little more different, but I doubt it. It's really the WZ and is determining the offspring but it can only be male. It can only be ZZ. So it's not gonna, even if it's WW then, or it's not gonna be, active. This egg will never fertilize. So basically, she's fertilizing her own egg. Is pretty much like that Bartholin gland and stuff that we speak on. I guess we could definitely pull that up for the people.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it to you right now. Yeah, the Bartholin gland is basically what they're saying, that women actually have a reservoir of sperm. Hold on. All right. It's a first a little anatomy lesson. They say the Bartholin's glands are located on each side of the vaginal opening, the Mayo Clinic. The glands secrete fluid to lubricate the vagina and vulva, right? So, right. And let me see what they say. If they say it's a vestige, because I know how they like to look at it. The glands are located in the vulva at either side of the external orifice or orifice of the vagina. They are homologous to the bulbourethral or Cowper's gland in males. Huh? You see that? To the bulbourethral glands in males. So hold on, let's see what the hell that is. Because obviously that's probably doing with a male sperm, obviously. And that would definitely connect, that Bartholin gland having previously been that area for the woman. What would you throw glands of Cowper's? Name for English anatomist William Cowper, or two small exocrine glands in the reproductive system. You can't reproduce without reproductive system, right? Of many male mammals, of all domesticated animals, they are absent only in dogs. They are homologous to Bartholin glands in females. So they're the exact same. You know, they're one. You know, they're homologous or homologous right now. We're gonna say homologous so we can know that it means the same. It's not heterologous. You feel me? It's homologous. Or logous, however y'all want to get it, right? So it's the exact same in males and females. Right? But ours is definitely letting sperm free. And there's, according to, people who they don't consider true scientists, a lot of melanated, master teachers have spoken about the Bartholin gland being the organ where women could produce sperm because it's the exact same organ in men that produce sperm. And they're saying that within inside the bone marrow of women is the sperm, so it's all testosterone. Put it like this: too much estrogen in a woman turns into testosterone, and too much estrogen, too much testosterone in men turns into estrogen. So it's crazy. And that's why they putting this stuff in foods. They putting estrogen and stuff like that in foods to, over masculinize the women and to effeminize the men.
Oh, is that why I act so manly?
It's in the food. It's in the food. It's in the food. They putting too much estrogen on y'all, and you already have a lifetime supply.
No, but like for real, because like I caught breast cancer, right? And my problem was too much progesterone and too much estrogen, but it wasn't my body; it was something that was outside of me. They said.
Exactly. Yeah, they know it's not hereditary or anything like that. It's not. You weren't naturally going to get that.
Yeah, they said it was no genetic mutations when I did my genetic testing.
Yep. So the Bartholin gland, let's go back to that. All right. So that's just science showing you it's real. Then I'm gonna see what produced. Yeah, they ain't gonna want to get on that, but hold on. Neither is true. Young kill. Is it true that urine kills man? So even if you ejaculate fluid, they're on that wild stuff. But they want to go at the Nawapians for it. So let me see. I just tap on it. I just want to kind of speak on this right quick. Like they say in Dr. Malachi wrote that women were once and still are capable of having babies without the use of male sperm in his so-called black book. This one right here, this book right here. So people know and they give the credit that people like him, he was the first to say that. So he was villainized for saying stuff like this, right? So obviously I'm playing the villain by even saying something like this. So can women still reproduce on their own? As generations went by, women depend on the male for reproduction, and she lost the knowledge of reproducing on her own by giving the power to man to protect, defend, and hunt for her. While she went through the 9 months of pregnancy, he took control. Question: can she perform this act without a male? Yes, it is obviously the original way, and in many cases, this still happens to this day. So a woman is capable of reproducing seminal fluids on her own internally without the help of male sperm. York in his original Black Book wrote. Question: so women can have a baby without a man? With these facts in mind, it tells you that a woman is capable of giving birth internally without the help of a male's penis. Question: so the Bartholin gland within a woman is in this state of being maimed, right? Yes, just like you were maimed and your Bartholin gland was removed. This same process happened to women when they surrendered their godliness to men. Question: if the female egg has within itself a set of genes and chromosomes, then why doesn't it develop into an embryo and an adult without fertilization? The answer to your question is that it does. The hatching of unfertilized eggs is known as parthenogenesis. Right? York makes some strong statements, yet in the entire book, never once does he cite an incident where a female gave birth without the use of male sperm. York actually taught this follower women gave birth to males and lost their ability because she developed a love and fondness to his masculinity, to men's masculinity. York also mentioned in his Black Book, the Bartholin glands in females releases seminal fluid compared to the male sperm. Thus, women can impregnate themselves.
Now, is the sun necessary? Because I heard that you needed the sun, you needed more magnesium on the planet.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm gonna have to pull up my brother. I'm forgetting his name. I can't. Dr. Delbert Blair. You know, he was the GOAT on that subject, right? And he literally spoke about how, you know, the egg, the female egg has a pulse and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they can even trick the egg into, like going through the stages of development. Like they can stimulate the egg in different ways, like electrical pulses or whatever, and trick it into being fertilized, or, you know, basically fertilized, or going into the third trimesters and stuff of,
Quicker.
Fertilization. So basically, all it takes is sunlight, because it takes vibration. So, like
So
you're
that's
saying,
like the Most
this
High, which will be the sun, got Mary pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like Akhenaten, how Akhenaten looked like he's pregnant or she's pregnant, and she's like in front of the sun with the lotus flowers. But he has 6 daughters.
Number XX. He couldn't
And
produce. He
then
couldn't put nothing else out. He ain't had no wife.
he had it. No, they say King Tut was his, but King Tut had breast and was
Exactly.
built.
He ain't had no wives, huh, man?
Yeah.
Oh, they acting crazy. They got all these raggedy videos. When you put the black woman as God, they got all these dumb videos up here nowadays.
I thank you for this, because I would have never known about that gland, because I've been trying to search parthenogenesis and I never came across that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe Dr. Deborah Blair broke that down too. But he the truth. Like, ain't nobody really. If anybody ever said a black woman is God, they got it from him. Like Dr. Deborah Blair really broke it down like no other.
So is it every woman has this, or is it just the black woman? Or it has to be just.
It's become a vestige. You know, the original woman is who had it.
Yeah.
Or who's done this. You know, they'll even tell you that anybody that lived,
good evening, good afternoon, or good morning,
depending on when you got 100,000 years ago, it was all dark skin.
My cities run together, my time runs together. I don't even know. I know it's
this is Dr. Deborah Blair. Whenever you see his face, he's a beautiful face. When it comes to that,
then keep on trying, and if you don't do it in 5 seconds.
Let me see.
From here, they'll use foreign troops foreign people show no mercy. Most of them can't even speak the English language.
I don't think you just hit.
So, not being a female, but admiring and loving the female, I say there are certain special things that you do and have that obviously you don't quite share honestly with the male. And so I've tried to pique your scenario by researching and studying you. Let me state also at the beginning that there are many ways now that women get on top of our society. White women, especially now, dominate our society. Black women try to dominate a society which has been usurped, and I won't spend time with that because most of you are more than familiar with the history, so-called Black history, Afro-American, Kemetic history, interchanging with America. But I will say this. Whether it is sexual wiles or womanly ways, the woman usually gets her way in the long run with any male. It just depends on how far she's willing to go in mind or in body. But usually knowing herself, she can get her way. We didn't stay in agreement past 3 statements. They carry your hair.
A lot of people
because the muscle fiber is toned better. Your confusion and puzzlement. Oh, good. Women in general at higher altitudes, like in the Andes Mountains and so, can usually carry heavier loads than men because the muscle fiber is toned better. And the amount of oxygen within the cell structures is greater than that of men. The female brain not only has a finer texture and more complex organization than that of the male, but relative to overall body weight, it is 1/4 pound heavier. There are fewer female baby miscarriages than there are male baby miscarriages. And during childhood, the female is mentally superior to male because the girl of 7, usually because of the rich thyroid hormones, has a brain capacity and a body capacity that dwarfs a boy in both mind and body. They're usually taller, more symmetric, and have better brain cohesion and function than does the boy. So now you understand that I have hopefully proven to you my opening statement. Is there anybody now that disagrees with anything that I said? I didn't think you would. They could grow to be 7 and 8 feet tall. That's why amongst the Watusi and the Watusi women, when they told you of their diets and things that used to be different, they have some of the most tall, or the tallest women and persons, in fact, on earth itself. The Old Testament said, and the ancient Hebrews said, that menstruation was unclean, and that a woman should be confined until cleansed of her issue. But understand again, a lot of that book was tampered with by a patriarchal society, and if you're not aware of that, and I think most of you should be, then we have a lot of interaction that we could go through. With the advent of monogamy, now I'm thinking about Africa, monogamy, by what we would call the Christian forefathers who wanted their church to really flourish, came the taught, learned sensation that menstruation was correct, menstruation was necessary, and was the woman's paying for her sins for having made Adam eat the apple and now must also bear her child in pain and affliction. And many of you bought that, didn't you? I state to you that menstruation is not a cleansing process. It is only the result of the deterioration of the egg, unfertilized, and that men have perpetuated a myth that women collectively have bought, and I can at least begin to forgive some African Kemetic women because they didn't have too much of a choice. In their old habitats, in their old lands, many of them, as I say, were taught better. I'm going to now talk to you as adults, if I already haven't, and I hope again you will accept these things with an adult mind, and then on the Q&A, talk to me, question me if you will. The whites is a street slang for a term called leukorrhea. It is an issue, a secretion from the vaginal area which women sometimes suffer from. If the womb becomes catarrhal, has mucus, has a cold, the whites is one of the results. The inflammation of the uterine lining produces, in many cases, menstruation, and many things can cause that, as we shall talk about. The fluids lost in leukorrhea, or colloquial on the street, the whites, are important vital substances. Lipoids, alkaline lactates, natural sodium, potassium, calcium, plus brain and nerve foods in the form of lecithin. In fact, the mucous corpuscles present in leukorrhea are presently hemoglobin capable. What do I mean by that? It means that they are capable of forming human blood-carrying, oxygenating corpuscles. So not only does a woman then suffer the menses, but if she also has leukorrhea, she is constantly losing the ability to build life-giving blood cells, which anyone knows without that, the body does what? Deteriorates. Some women are on a constant menses. And then you wonder why some women are very irritable, very agitative, anemic. They get dizzy and have migraine headaches and jump at the sound of a firecracker 20 miles away, which they think they can hear. If anyone suffered that kind of loss from puberty till death, I wonder again why women are not half crazy. There are some men and other women that say they are. I didn't say it. I say, faced with that loss, we could have a problem. If loss was ceased and stopped, then not only would women be very strong, and they wouldn't be intuitive, they would be psychic, but they also could give birth to babies without a man being anywhere around. And there is the key to your problem and your problematic solution. You've bought into the coat's lie, the white coat's lie, the medical doctor's lie, which came about under a patriarchal system. If you start understanding the cadavers that were messed with in England and France at the turn of the 17th, 18th century, and experimentation still goes on. In fact, they, by law, are given under the caduceus the right to practice. And the practice is upon, in many cases, you as females. There was a theory called the Ovist theory, spelled O-V-I-S-T, pronounced Ah. It was proven, not postulated, I repeat, proven by Professor Jacques Loeb of Stanford University that the embryo develops from the egg alone and does not require spermatozoa. Did you hear what I just stated? According to Professor Loeb, you can make a developing embryo to become mitigated and go into first, second, and third trimesters of birth without the need of the male sperm under certain circumstances. The prevailing medical theory is one of epigenesis, and it says again that you must have the union of sperm and egg in order to produce and in order to get pregnant. Maybe. To start this and give it practicality, we have to go back to a basic concept that some people still are not sure about. I state that women had to have been created before men or formed before man, because you cannot get a man from a man, you cannot get a woman from a man, but you can get a man from a woman, and you can get a woman from a woman, and think about that. Any problem with that statement, that compound complex sentence? I don't have one. This is what the old church, the Church of England, and under King Constantine and the Bishop you see, continue with some semblance of truth from the Greek society, the last time when the Caucasians told truth. The male cannot reproduce himself, the female can. What does that mean if carried to the furthest extent? It means that if the woman also could decide whether she was going to produce a male or a female, the race of man could cease to exist, as we now understand it, as a double gender. That, at one time on Earth, was a tremendous problem. The universal cosmic egg theorem is that a cosmic egg was created, and from that generated everything, and that in the egg still is the semblance of first creation. Things start from an egg, whether it be a hard shell finish or a little ovum attached to the uterine wall. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Let's get a little guess on that. I want to have a little fun here again. How many say that the chicken came first? May I see your hands? If you say the chicken hand first, just raise your hand. Only 3, 4 people. How many say that the egg came first? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, well, about 6 people. How many aren't going to get on a limb and commit either way? You're just going to listen to the lecture. Okay. Well, in 1975, they connected a vibrational detecting device to an unfertilized egg, and they got a rhythmic pulsing beat just like that of a human heart or pulse. What is generally an unfertilized egg? Why, they kind of share with me quickly from the audience? What's the difference between an unfertilized egg and a fertilized egg? Chicken didn't mate, no males around. Yet they have detected, and that experiment has been tried and tried again, some kind of rhythm or pulse within that egg itself. They also found in vertebrates, those that have a central vertebral column again, a spine, if you would, that on the phases and oscillations of the moon, that pulse varied, but was always even more intense. We understand that humans are the dominant species on this planet Earth. We are the masters, we are the greatest, and everything else is beneath us, right? Right, yeah.
See, y'all ain't hear the God, like when you just broke down how the egg literally had a rhythmic pulse.
We understand that humans are the dominant species on this planet. We are vertebral column again, a unfertilized egg, heart or pulse.
Well, here you go.
Be a vibrational detecting device to an
This is it.
In 1975, they connected a vibrational detecting device to an unfertilized egg. And they got a rhythmic pulsing beat just like that of a human heart or pulse. What is generally an unfertilized egg? Why, they kind of share with me quickly from the audience? What's the difference between an unfertilized egg and a fertilized egg?
Yeah, y'all know the difference. You know what I'm saying? For sure. And this is an unfertilized egg. I'm gonna back it up one more again. They put a vibration rhythmic test. Hold on, test it.
What is T75?
Right here.
Well, in 1975, they connected a vibrational detecting device to an unfertilized egg. And they got a rhythmic pulsing beat, just
vibrational detecting device. Did they detect the vibration?
Like that of a human heart or pulse. What is?
So I ain't gonna lie, I ain't slow like everybody else. I gotta speed it up.
Egg?
We ain't gonna watch much more, but I definitely want to help prove the point.
Unfertilized eggs and a fertilized egg. She can make no males around. Yet they have detected, and that experiment has been tried and tried again, some kind of rhythm or pulse within that egg itself. They also found in vertebrates, those that have a central vertebral column again, a spine, if you would, that on the phases and oscillations of the moon, that pulse varied, but was always even more intense. We understand that humans are the dominant species on this planet Earth. We are the masters, we are the greatest, and everything else is beneath us, right? Right. The acorn, which has a seed, a phylum of vegetable and plant, contains everything in it that the seed needs to become a mighty oak, including a print on its phloem showing what it's going to look out when it matures, what it's going to look like. Isn't that interesting? Ever cut an acorn apart and look at it? I mean, some of these mutated acorns now that have been gassed and pre-picked, you can't tell anything from. But get the real seed of an pure bone acorn, and what do you have when you cut it in half? Picture of a tree. I mean, that's somebody really blueprinted that one. They already said, this is what you're going to look like when you grow up. And that's just on a little acorn. Okay? Let's go to another phylum, an animated phylum, the silk moth. The silk moth reproduces and never mates. Reproduces without a mate. The lowly aphid reproduces without a mate. And as the ancient Egyptians tried to point out, the scarabus beetle, reproduces without a mate and can shed its skin and goes along every 7 years quite well. It dies when it does mate. And if you remember, on the Ankh and the scarabus, you found in your Valley of the Kings, and you found again amongst the pyramid and on the Sphinx itself, that sacred symbol of the scarabus. They were trying to convey something. Most of us have forgotten or never knew what they were trying to convey. Dr. Edward Bischoff, MD, started this modern theory of epigenesis in 1854. I want you to jot down that date because people think this has been going along for a long time. It has not. That's close to the turn of the century. Dr. Edward Bischoff started the theory and the story of epigenesis in 1854. That is, that the zygote and the uterine development by union of sperm and egg was the way that humans get started. The first trimester after fetal conception. Before Bischoff's theory became accepted, and understand, it was presented on a paper as a theory, not an accepted fact. Later on, males and those who study under males have made it a fact that this is the way pregnancy starts. For centuries, people before that had believed in a theory of parthenogenesis. I repeat, parthenogenesis, and it even created under Grecian society, which had adopted and stole from the ancient Nubian society, the Parthenon. The idea for the Parthenon was not Greek. The idea that a temple toward bringing in gods was already being utilized on earth and parthenogenesis, or virgin birth, was acceptable and was your immaculate, wonderful way. All of your ancient gods, so-called, or avatars or presentors were said to have been of what? Virgin birth. Now we laugh at that. We lose so much in the vaginal uterine tract conceptory and bringing to term trimesters that there must be a better way. We have just forgotten that there was another way. In the year 1955, 4 prominent British doctors of medicine, and I like to use this amongst college students because when you say British doctors of medicine, then it makes it okay. Dr. Stanley Balfour Lynn, Dr. Bernard Camber, Dr. David Wine Williams, and Dr. A.E. Morant all studied some 10 classical cases of virgin births and agreed that all 10 of them were real, that in some way parthenogenesis, bringing to birth without the union of sperm and egg, had occurred in all 10 of those cases, barring nothing. Most famous or classic of virgin birth was by Mrs. Emma Marie Jones, a German woman who during the height of to 1944 had been locked in her castle, a big estate, because it had been bombed and everybody thought that everybody inside had been killed. And so for 17 months, she stayed in there. She was not pregnant when she went in. When she came out, she was 9 months pregnant. There had been no men in there. There is another theory. The others had been killed, had been locked in her castle. Jones, a German woman, had occurred in all 10 of those cases, barring nothing. The most famous or classical case of virgin birth was by Mrs. Emma Marie Jones, a German woman who during the height of the war, World War II, 1944, had been locked in her castle, a big estate, because it had been bombed and everybody thought that everybody inside had been killed. And so for 17 months, she stayed in there. She was not pregnant when she went in. When she came out, she was 9 months pregnant. There had been
in WW inviable or non-developmental offspring. Meaning the only way for the double X chromosome Virgin Mary to give birth to the XY male Jesus was if she was actually WZ and Mary and Jesus were actually lizards. It all makes sense now.
TV.
So during parthenogenesis, an XX female is only able to produce XX eggs and female offspring. She has no way of getting that Y chromosome, and a male cannot be born. Now, the Komodo dragon, most other lizards, birds, and snakes have the WZ sex determination system. This is where 2 like chromosomes, ZZ, are male, resulting in WZ being female. During parthenogenesis, a WZ female is only able to produce ZZ male offspring in WW inviable or non-developmental offspring. Meaning the only way for the double X chromosome Virgin Mary to give birth to the XY male Jesus was if she was actually WZ and Mary and Jesus were actually lizards.
Reason why priests, monks, and yogis traditionally have been celibate. Today, all but a tiny few know why they are practicing celibacy, because the true purpose has become lost. Quite simply, if your energy is going into producing more sperm or eggs, as the case may be, then there is not as much to fuel the rising of Kundalini, which activates the higher chakras. Kundalini is life energy, which is also sexual energy. When awareness becomes less focused on animal urges and is put into the objects reflective of the higher chakras, That energy flows up the spine and to those chakras. Many of the tantric practices teach how to master sexual energy so that it can be used for higher spiritual evolution.